Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about and rank all of my fall tone, khaki, olive green type eyeshadow palettes. I mentioned this in a video 2 months ago now, I think, and before the January new makeup releases start to roll in and I'll be fixated on reviewing makeup, I just want to spend some time to do something fun. And today's look is actually created with a mixture of different products featured in this video. And I usually don't get to do that because I'm usually reviewing makeup, and for demonstrations purposes, I'll only use that palette or that product. So today I get to kind of play around, experiment, and try layer on different things from different palettes to create this look. If you're interested to see how I created this look, I will put that mini tutorial at the end of this video, so definitely stick around for that if you're interested. So let's get started. I only have, it's a short list. I thought I had a lot of olive khaki green, but it's only 6 or 7 items here. There are some that I didn't put into this list for ranking purposes, but I will bring them up because I think there are some similarities and it might be interesting for you guys to see as well. So starting with the first item, number 6, is going to be this e.l.f. bite-sized palette, Jalapeno. I purchased this palette 2 years ago, and during my first year when I started my YouTube channel, I tried drugstore makeup, luxury, high-end, and just to see. I especially bought drugstore makeup to compare against high-end makeup because I'm always curious to see, what are the similarities, the qualities, and so forth. And I found that these e.l.f. bite-sized palettes, just unbeatable value, and depending on the color story you get from these, some of them are actually, all 4 of the shades are really great quality. I think the metallics is probably generally where they excel. This palette excelled at best. And Jalapeno is one of the better ones, I would say. I think pumpkin spice, I think pumpkin pie is the best one out of the 5 that I've tried. But this, I would say, is a decent second out of those 5. So love this metallic shade here. It's bright, pigmented, it's smooth, it works nicely, blends nicely on the lid, and these mattes can be a little bit patchy, but I really think this is not bad. It's buildable. And again, the value is unbeatable. So for all of those reasons that I just mentioned, I definitely wanted to put this palette on the list. Next is the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Eye Palette, and this is Smoky Eyes Are Forever. I am specifically focusing on these 3 here. I did create a video and demoed creating 4 looks. Each look is using, 3, like this kind of grouping here. These 3 are beautiful. I think they're great, the way that they paired it together, and it sits next to these kind of burnt orange, like fall burgundy-ish red shades. It actually goes really well with the green, and because the way that these are grouped together and these shades here, this one is Prime, Enhance, and Smoke. And then in this one, I think this one is Prime, Enhance, and Smoke. So with the way that instructionally these are advertised, some people might not think, oh, I can really mix and match here, but you totally can. So I'll bring this palette back up when I bring up the quad this reminds me of, to just do a quick comparison. Really beautiful palette. I enjoyed the green olive khaki look here, and actually especially was looking forward to using these shades here since I don't have many of them in my collection. At number 4 is the NARS Climax palette. This palette is just such a surprise. I picked it up when I saw really good reviews and people were just very pleasantly surprised. I think it's the combination, it's a color story combination, the mix of these matte shadows with the metallics, and then these 2, I guess even this shade here, but these 2 greens really stand out to me. The mattes are a bit softer than how they look in the pan, although it is buildable. The eyeshadow quality from NARS is, I think this is what we usually get from NARS. It's not quite, you know, the top quality that is available in the market, but I think for the pricing, for what it is, it's still a great palette. I didn't have any issues creating looks with them. I wasn't frustrated. So, but for quality, I think I've ranked it a little bit lower than I otherwise would. I think this is just an excellent fall palette overall, so that's why it's right in the middle of the list. And number 3 is Viseart's Petite Fool Pure Dot palette. They released this last year, holidays of 2021, and it is just so stunning. I created a whole video and then a look using this palette. I mean, the metallics are always just so great to work with. And this bright green here that you could actually center your look around that if you wanted to. I'm gonna go back into the shade here for a second application because I felt like that swatch didn't really do it justice. But you can see how easily buildable it is. Viseart eyeshadow formulations are more powdery when compared to like Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath. However, for the more powdery consistency, it is very creamy. They are easy to blend, easy to work with, diffuse, and I feel that, I think just depending on your preference, if you like powders more than the ultra creamy Natasha Denona formulas, you might prefer Viseart over some of those others. Overall, I really love the look that I created. I got really great feedback from you guys on that too. And it's 4 shadows in this tiny package, but just how mighty of a combination it is. So for that reason, it is ranked number 3 on my list. At number 2 is Byredo's Metal Boots in the Snow palette. And a few reasons. Actually, I want to say I shuffled these 3 around. And, you know, I said, okay, because of the quality, it's not quite, you know, top 3 or higher. However, I still find that for the price this palette is at, the price point, it's really fair. And it's not a knock on the brand, on NARS. Actually, I really like NARS. I find that depending on just really personal preference, you could shuffle these 3 around. I mean, this one here, there's more shadows and there's like that blue and different things that you could create different looks with easily, like 3 different looks easily. Whereas with this 4 shades, it's kind of, you know, you can do one and dones with the metallics, you can do, you know, 2 shades, but there's not as many variations and different looks you can create when compared to this. Byredo, you get a little bit more, it's 5 shades, but it doesn't have that same versatility. Why I like Byredo and why it's number 2, eventually I shuffled it enough and I'm like, okay, I think this is gonna be it, but why it's number 2 for me is you get this really fun glitter shade. Not everybody's into glitter, and I totally understand that. I'm just gonna put that here. And it's not really coming off of my finger, but it has, I guess it's indicative because it just really has good stain power. It's gel-like, so it's meant to, once you pop it on your lid, it's gonna stay there. And when I used it, I didn't get fallout. There it is. You have to use a bit more pressure. I do recommend using your finger over a brush actually to get like more of the glitter on. And it's just fun. There's nothing in my collection, nothing part of this list that has kind of this combination here. So I really like how it's just different. It's just different from everything else. And I absolutely love the shade. It is a duochrome. It's what I have right here to make this look pop a bit more. And this is buildable as well. These shadows from this palette, overall, they're fairly creamy right along here. And this one we know you don't get fallout from it. This one's probably the most flaky and buttery and creamy, so you do get a little bit of fallout. These ones, they just kind of stay on your lid, and they're great throughout the day. I also love this kind of slate shade that they've added here, which is reminiscent of, not the same, but similar idea, I think, to this blue from Climax palette. So there's a little bit of variety, and this is from NARS and Byredo. Just a little bit more variety, something experimental that they all threw together in this luxe packaging. So for all those reasons, this is number 2 on my list. And for number 1, if you saw my favorite beauty items of 2021, this is not a surprise. This is going to be the Chanel Le Beige Intense palette that they released last summer. And I used 4 of the 5 shades for today's look. The color payoff is light. The pigmentation is concentrated, but it's light. It's so beautiful. It really does remind me of kind of being at the beach, seeing the sands and everything glisten off the water as the sun hits it, and then also on the sand as the sun hits it. It's just like so many glistening. Why I like using this palette paired with other eyeshadow palettes is I always want a little bit more intensity. So the look that I have today, I won't be able to create just with this palette. It needs a little bit more if that's what I'm looking for. But if you're somebody who likes this kind of light wash of color and great quality, it's perfect. It's everything you need, and it's just very easy to work with. I've never created a look just from this alone that I didn't like. And anytime that I use this palette to pair with any other, green or similarly themed color story to this palette, it always enhanced my look. So that's why it's number 1. And I didn't include this as a standalone item, but I think it goes really well with the palette. It's going to be the Chanel Stilo Ombre et Contour in the shade Contour Khaki. And seeing this along with all these different shades here, it goes with any of them, and it instantly, I use it as a eyeliner, it instantly makes your look more dramatic, if that's what you want. But it could also be used as a base shade. You could put this on, blend it out, and then start applying eyeshadows. And it really could be your single item used to intensify the look you would create from this if you wanted to. So I love this pencil, and it does not budge. It just stays on throughout the day, whether I use it under my eyes or as an eyeliner, even if I were to use it kind of like a deep base shadow. It just, everything just sticks to it really, really well. And then a few items I did want to mention alongside the list, but didn't really make it on there. One of them is going to be the Chanel Lid Lac in Lame Bronze. It's beautiful, it's intense. These also don't budge. But I find that it is not really my style of makeup application, because I tend to, when I've used this, I tend to like go in and blend it before it dries. And you can blend it a little bit, but it's not really meant for that. I think it really it's meant to be used as like a swipe and then a light spreading of it, and then you leave it alone and let it to dry. So because this color is so deep and intense, it's like the way I tend to use it is maybe on the outer corner, and then I want to go in and blend it out. It never quite works, and I think it really has to do with my own style of creating looks, and it's just I'm not really that compatible with it. I think it works as the way it was designed. It doesn't budge. So if you like these kind of liquid type eyeshadows, it's beautiful. So I did want to mention this as well. The last item here is from Suku. This is their eyeshadow quad, Sonia G, that was released, I think, pre-fall collection or fall collection. It's an olive green, and I didn't rank it or put it into the list because it just has one green. However, it's worth mentioning that the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Eye Palette and this certainly has some similar vibes. So it's basically a couple of these shades put into this palette here. This is a very beautiful quad. When I saw this again, I said, oh, I'm gonna leave this on my vanity because I wanna go back to it. There's just something about these nice warm shades for the fall, and certainly you can wear it throughout the year, especially, throughout winter as well. But you pop this green and it just gives it something a little bit more eye-catching, special, not the kind of eye combo look that you're gonna see every day. And then you pop the shimmer on there to just even enhance it or soften your look. It can be used to soften your look or just give it a little bit more pop. And I do think it is sold out at this point. So there's my other hesitation to include on this list. So that's a very soft glitter gold shade. This is that pretty green. If you're interested in the dedicated videos I've created for each of these items here, you can find them on my channel. I will have a link below. And most of these items, I believe, are still available. The Chanel Intense palette was launched for quite a while and it was limited edition. So this one actually might be sold out, but everything else other than Suku should be available, and I'll have all the information below. Thank you guys for watching. Now I have the mini tutorial if you're interested for this look, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, bye.